What's good, gang?
What's good, gang? So, something I've noticed about this new era of Camera Every Day is that it's pretty much exclusively studio behind the scenes stuff. And as Aaron and I have gotten like more and more in the flow, and it's also as we've gotten more and more busy just doing stuff, it's like kind of like when we're in the studio right now, it's like we're pretty much in the groove. Yeah, I think we just need to kind of get a little better at filming more of the process instead of like, hey, this is what we did, hey, this is what we did, and then like a little bit of like behind the scenes kind of liner notes type of material, driving through the neighborhood, waving at the neighbors, being a neighborly guy. But yeah, I was like, you know what's funny is I never do like, I do like these kind of style vlogs when I'm talking about music, because there's a lot to talk about, and I think I should be kind of keeping this kind of around music. You know, it's funny, like at the earlier phases of Camera Every Day, it was like you're on that young trajectory. So you're coming like out of high school, you have a bunch of friends, you know, everyone's young and kind of down. And now it's like, I'm sure everyone who's been watching this since then is probably in the same boat. But it's like when you get older, you either like, you have your family and then you have your family, basically, family and family, or I don't know. I just feel like even, I don't have a family, like a wife and kids and stuff, but I'm like all my friends are like so far removed. I mean, I've got friends that I obviously keep in touch with and see on a semi-regular basis, but I'm really just comparing it to what it's like when you're like 19 years old and the kind of friends you have then. I remember that first year of Camera Every Day, I was going to school for like a semester, but I only had 2 classes, and everyone I was hanging out with was like kind of almost doing the same thing. Like no one was going to college. Everyone was kind of like either going like taking a couple community classes or just kind of working and hanging out. And that was like the best year ever, for real. You know, minimal responsibilities, minimal expectations, and you kind of have like this kind of time to burn. I was pretty productive with that, where I was like engaging a lot socially, but I was also really hustling on the music side. And you know, I was hustling on the music stuff when I was like 16, you know. I was, as soon as I got a Macintosh and an interface, and I basically, that's all I did. I played a little bit of video games here and there, but I did not socialize really. I mean, if you wanted to socialize with me, it was either in school or it was like at my house doing music afterwards. There was a couple like major events that I would do with usually people I did music with that were like kind of fun community type things, you know, like dodgeball, or this game we used to play called Cops and Robbers, which is where all the cops were on bikes, the robbers were on foot, and the robbers need to get from one park in one town to one park in another town that were connected. Really good times. So like besides stuff like that, and I kind of always had a girlfriend too, so I would like, I don't know, spend time with her or whatever. I guess it was multiple hers when I was young too. So it's funny now though, because like now I kind of like, I mean, I think a point I was getting on too is like I was grinding when I was like 16, you know, my own stuff, but just kind of like learning the craft, making beats for other people, recording other people's bands, you know, kind of, I've talked about this on the channel before, but like making content before content was a thing. It was just like, YouTube is cool, let's make a YouTube video. That was like the mentality. And I'm sure with like younger people, it probably still is just like that, but now they have the term content and stuff. But and I guess I'm using a verb I hate, or a noun I hate, just to communicate better in this ramble. It's funny because then I kind of like, you know, did the whole first part of my career, let's call it 2011 to 2014 or whatever, and then 2015 to probably like 2019, 2020. I kind of like, I didn't take off, but I basically like took the pedal off the metal. And I think that's a whole nother era I could probably talk a lot about another time, because there's a lot of good lessons learned. But the main effect of that is I lost my momentum. And you know, when I was gaining my momentum the first time around, I was like a teenager, so it's like safe, and you have low expectations and low responsibilities. You're not even aware of these things, you know. And then it's funny, like as time goes on, you think I still feel like young as fuck, you know what I mean? I don't feel like, I hear people being like, oh, I'm old, I'm like same age as me kind of stuff, and I'm like, oh my god, that's horrible. But I am aware, it's like, you know, if I get my momentum going again, which I'm currently doing, let's say it takes me a couple of years to get that momentum going. I'm gonna be 34 this summer, then I'll be like 36, which still sounds pretty young to me, to be honest. So, but it's different than being 23. And I think the advantage of being 36 over being 2023 is the maturity levels and the awareness that I can speak to myself and speak to this game that we play, you know? So I think I'm in a pretty good position. I think the lessons I learned in my later 20s or actualized these lessons in my early 30s that I've been putting into effect will be great. They won't be just great for my career and my vision and what I'm doing, but they will especially be great for when I need to speak and when I need to communicate, and how the music can be a vessel, like a vibrational vessel, to, you know, get people to quote unquote follow you. But then if they want to follow you deeper, the message you can relay verbally, not just verbally, but also like the way you live your life will be really impactful and a positive thing. So I think that was kind of meant to be in a lot of ways, you know. But it's funny, today is, what's today, Thursday? So on Sunday, I was like really tired, and I don't think I've talked about this much on this channel, but my dad is a broker, and when I moved back to Nevada, I was like, you know what, I didn't even move back, I was planning on being here for like a month, and I was kind of like watching what my dad was doing in that month, and I was like, you know what, I can either move back to Texas, or I can like try to learn everything from my old man, because he's pretty smart. You know, I think if I was like in my 60s, I might regret not learning more from him. Because when I was young, I think most of the time he spent was doing his own business and providing for the family, you know what I mean? So I was like, you know, I'm a little older now, I'm a little more aware. Let me take this time to kind of like bond with my dad and learn what he's doing, and, you know, kind of use him as a mentor. So I got licensed in 2022, I believe it was. I got licensed. For people my age, are probably like millennials, are either have a house or want a house right now, and they're kind of a generation that either did it early or they kind of waited a little bit. There's a lot of millennials in that boat, so they're probably all tuned in at one point or another, probably in the last couple years or something. They've all kind of inquired about probably owning their own real estate. I own real estate. I have a house in Reno that I bought in January of 2015, so I know a little bit about it just from that, and I guess that's my own personal experience with it. But I got licensed in 2022, and my point is, like, if you're following real estate, you probably know that's August of 2022 is when the rates started to come back up. And you know, that's a federal thing, so it's a national, binded to the whole country. But every market in the country is a little different. Our market here is pretty expensive. There's not a lot of places to build and whatnot, and there's like a million little areas that you can be in. And so it creates, like, it's different than just like, it's hard to speak on these things because not everyone is familiar with every single city in the world, right? But let's look at like Vegas as an example. Go look at Vegas on a map. It's like a big sprawl, you know, it's all level, like you can, it's all connected in a way. Yeah, it has its different little pockets and whatnot, but the pockets that connect to it is just part of a sprawl. Here, it's like the geography makes this area landlocked. So we have mountains everywhere. The best way to look at that up here is like if the mountains were water. So it's basically just like a bunch of islands around here, and you can look at the mountain, like places that like reside next to mountains as like almost like coves, creating like different pockets. So it's you can't really build that much. There's places where you can build, but then you get further away from like the amenities that are next to big mountains right here. So it's kind of an interesting market, limited inventory, and it's a very I think a difficult market to learn in, and the reason for that is kind of there's just low transactions occurring, and the transactions that are occurring are people who have assets and money, essentially. So it's pretty difficult, and it's a grind that I've been grinding on for a while with excellent mentorship. So I'm pretty damn good at it, to be honest. I don't have a ton of personal experience. I do have a lot of personal experience, but I don't have like, you know, years and years of like 15 transactions going on. So I leverage my dad's experience quite often, and also like other experience of other agents and whatnot in this office he has. I don't know, I could probably make a video about that someday. That shit's hella boring, and that's kind of my point. So like, I feel like all my time lately, I mean, I'm also kind of missing a spot of when I didn't do anything besides read, eat, sleep, work out, and study stuff, and do music and whatnot on a laptop. But now I'm doing everything like on like another level, or starting to, at least, and the trajectory of all these things is kind of going in like that upward thing. The payoff of all my my grinding, whatever you want to call it, delayed gratification practices, regaining my momentum and my foundation, you could put it, of mind, body, and soul, right? So it's like my schedule right now is basically like during the day, 5 days a week, I usually go down to the office, and I won't get into all the duties I do as an agent, but I do my stuff, right? And then I basically get off and I go home and eat, and then I go to errands and work on music, or I either go to the gym. But I basically have like very little time to relax, you know? I try to sleep a lot, which can get kind of difficult sometimes if I choosing to relax later at night, you know, or I'm at a session late into the night, because I basically get up the next day and hit it hard all over again. It's great. I think there's a lot of layers to what I'm talking about, and you know, like where your focus is, and you know where your time is and stuff, and where your experience is, where your passion is. So it's kind of interesting. It's been an interesting time of kind of like double dutying everything. Like I do music full time and I do real estate full time at the same time. Pretty much. Like when I'm at the office, I'm not just doing real estate. I'm also like doing a bunch of music stuff, not producing, but like kind of the, you know, other side of it, right? So it's interesting. But essentially on Sunday, I was like, you know, for a couple weeks, if you go on my Twitter and you look at like the past month or so, it's basically me saying I'm tired for like a month straight. And I just was tired the whole time. I feel like I just like kind of lost a little sleep a couple times, and then like I basically was like never recovering it. Like as soon as I was like recovering it, I was like pulling myself too thin again. And but I had to. Like I have these things that I know I need to do. And so I was just doing all the things, you know. On Sunday I was like, you know what? It was a crazy weekend. I don't even remember. It was busy. I was like, you know what? Monday I'm gonna go to the lake and I'm just gonna like start chilling. I'm gonna take Monday off. Minimal stuff. I mean, if someone calls me for something or something pops up, I handle it, of course, but I'm trying to lay low, essentially. Pray that nothing happens. And I did that, and then it was like I got sick. Legit, like I got sick Monday morning. Like I had to take Advil for a headache, and I was down Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. And like I went to the lake on Monday. It was great, but my sickness was like a headache, and it was basically like exhaustion. It was really weird how it lined up. Like I was like, okay, I'm gonna take this time off. My body was just like, bleh, like you're not doing anything. So I kind of wanted to like ease out of it today, but it hasn't really been easing out of it. Kind of jumped right out of bed, and a million things have been going on. So I'm about to do some showings right now, and then I'm gonna go to Aaron's house and do a session. Aaron's leaving, and I'm just gonna like, all my gear is at his house right now, so I'm just gonna like do my stuff at his house, because it's Big Slime Summer, baby, and it's 2.0. I feel like Don't Be Stupid, Defeathering a Swan, Ultra Spicy, Slam Gaze, and Space Slam, along with kind of whatever else I've done. Julia Wolf, Putrid Stew, yada yada yada. It was all like Big Slime Summer 1, and I think of it's as 1 out of 3, and I think we're entering into 2 out of 3 right now, and eventually I think 3 out of 3 will be probably like August, September, that type of era, and then the Big Slime Summer will be complete, and then we'll see what winter has entail. I have a couple of predictions about how winter will go. So we'll wait for that to name that, but I don't know. I don't really know where I'm going with this. I'm just kind of like vlogging a little bit. I really don't want to talk about real estate that much on here, you know. It's kind of like a boring topic for me in a lot of ways. I'd rather keep it around music, but I think it's nice to kind of like get a little more personally transparent on kind of how I'm spending my time, which is a lot. And I can go into any of these things, you know, balancing stuff, purpose in life, you know, physical health, mental health, spiritual health. I could probably go into all these things, but when I do, it will just be the right time, you know what I mean? And it kind of circles back to what I was saying before, is like music is the vessel which creates a vibration which attracts people. If you want to follow that vibration down to the core of the transmitter, which is me, I'm going to have something positive to share with how I'm living my life and how I can speak about things. But we're kind of like in the early stages of that in a way. So I'm not rushing shit, you know what I mean? I'm just going to keep killing it, and yeah. But I'm coming up to my appointment, so to be continued. Might break this vlog up into 2 parts if I do some heavy studio lifting this afternoon. But peace. Swag. Alright, so we're here in Aaron's studio. Aaron left. He went to Jeremy's house to have a session over there. And I had to run an errand in Carson City. So here we are. and I'm just loving life because I haven't made music in a minute. It feels like forever, but after my little downtime, you know what I mean? But I'm working on I'm trying to make like an actual cumbia song. Like here's the bass. Cumbia as hell, my little bass line. It's more cumbia than like the guitars. But I don't know. Want to get some guitars in there for whatever reason because it is like experimental hybrid metal cumbia. You know what I'm saying? So I got one more song I want to do today. So I might try to do vocals to this now and see how it goes. Sometimes I don't like to do the vocals like at the same time I do the instrumentals, but sometimes I don't think it matters. You know what I'm saying? It's an energy thing. You know, do I want to keep it going? I should break it up. Yeah, let's do the vocals to it. I want to get like hella goofy with it, but I also don't. I just gotta do it. Sometimes I feel like about things, it's like, you know, it's just gonna be what it is. Like, you can't really change what you're gonna do before you do it. Like you can prepare, and then once you're at the event or once you're in the session, the booth, it's like what's gonna happen is gonna happen. You know what I mean?
What's good, gang?